graduation day, you came to me and showed me love I couldn't believe. I went down on my knees crying, thank you God. Your hand on my back saying I love you, son. That day I learned your love goes beyond four walls, beyond four walls. Ooh. 2024, I've got some metal scars, and through it all, you never changed who you are. I go down on my knees crying, thank you God. Your hand on my back saying I love you, son. That day I learned your love goes beyond four walls. Take out the ambition, strip away the idols we've made. Come be the center, come and clear the stage until you remain, until you remain, until you remain, until you remain. Take out the ambition, strip away the idols we've made. Come be the center, come and clear the stage until you remain, until you remain, until you remain, until you remain. Take out the ambition, strip away the idols we've made. Come be the center, come and clear the stage until you remain, until you remain, until you remain, until you remain. Take out the ambition, strip away the idols we've made. Come be the center.
Let's go.
Bringing you nothing but hits
Come on, play that song.
after hits.
Come on, DJ, play that song.
This is KLRJ Jam OKC 86 Radio. Get locked in and stay locked in. This is the Conservative as Christ Show.
Peace and blessings, family. Welcome to the Conservative as Christ Show with LJ and the Wretch. Today is Monday, October 28th, 2024. It is another beautiful day our Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. What is good with your brother?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Having a great time. This weekend was not great. Besides my daughter's birthday party, it was great. We went out to Honey Biscuit, and then we went to the Bubba's Play Place. So that was good. But my football teams, the Cowboys and the Sooners. The Cowboys players walked out arguing with the reporters, and Trayvon Diggs had something. He came at a reporter for posting something on TikTok or Twitter or something about the game, and so hey man, you just gotta look at yourselves. Look at yourselves. And are the players going to the owner and saying, hey, man, buy some players in free agency. Don't just sit on your hands. Actually go and get some players. Are they doing that? But you can't beat San Francisco. I believe that now that's not a team that I dislike more than San Francisco. Now the city is nice to visit, but the players, the team, I can't stand them at all. I can't stand them at all, and their fans. But you gotta. If you turn the ball over against them, you will lose, unless you're one of these other low teams that they keep losing to. But evidently, if you're the Cowboys, you can't turn the ball over and lose, and you can't turn the ball over and beat San Francisco. But everybody else, they're getting beat by, they could do it. But evidently not the Cowboys, because they got 4 losses.
Yeah, well, we got 6. We got 6.
26-8.
It's 6 straight losses. Like and
your prediction on Mr. Allen may be coming to fruition. So
I told you, man, I didn't trust them. But we started well, but right, they can always hang their hat on us. We don't have an NFL quarterback right now.
Yeah, they can hang their hat on that. We
don't have an NFL quarterback right now, man. And they went to the 3rd string. You know what I'm saying? When you go into your 3rd string and it's not because of injury, you don't have a quarterback. So we don't have an NFL quarterback right now. What I want to know is, I remember when we first got Taysom Hill and Drew Brees and that was still there, and it was talking like Taysom Hill was going to be a quarterback. What happened to that plane? Like
he's hurt.
I'm saying, but they don't even try him at quarterback. They never like, come on, man. Like it's it's looking bad. LSU not looking blue elite. We not looking much better.
But see, when I watched that game, I was so relieved to watch real college football. Real college football team play like real college football players. I was real relieved to see that. You don't
think the Sooners was playing like real college football?
I think Jinx or Bixby or Carl Albert will go out there and beat them right now. Now, that's not true, but it's the offensive line is offensive. The offense, it look like me and you can go out there and get to the quarterback.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
19 sacks in 2 games.
Oh.
19 sacks in 2 games.
Yeah.
19. So, and this is Oklahoma. This is supposedly a college that puts out, and we got him. Tyler Guyton was drafted by the Cowboys. Now he's he's one of the reasons why Dak he ain't got no time, but he was a premier offensive lineman that got drafted, and so we have him, and so I don't understand what's going on with this offensive line. Jackson Arnold he's a starter now. He actually played pretty good, the quarterback. He just don't have no time. 10 sacks. So I mean, we play Maine Saturday? Are we gonna beat Maine? I don't know.
Y'all not losing.
Are we gonna beat Maine?
Y'all not losing them.
They beat New Hampshire pretty good.
Y'all not losing.
I mean, come on, man. We'll probably win 17-10.
That's the thing. Like
17-3.
If y'all win 17-3, you're gonna count that as a loss. You're not gonna be happy about that.
Yes, this is OU, man. This is not Oklahoma State. Okay, we actually have conference championships on the board and national titles on the board.
Why are you giving Oklahoma State them straight shots, man? Why you getting them?
I'm just saying. I wasn't trying to, man. It's just a habit, man. It's just a habit to talk about your little brother sometimes.
Yeah,
it's just a habit to talk about your little brother. But I wasn't trying to. But maybe one day they'll win a conference game. We're still waiting. They're still waiting. So maybe they'll do it. Maybe they'll do it this weekend. I don't know who they play this weekend, but they keep losing to everybody they play. So I don't know. But anyway, the offensive line is bad. Jackson Arnold is the guy. He's the guy. But so you made me look at this.
I did that.
Yeah, they play Arizona State at home. They got a chance. Let's see. Can they win a conference game this weekend? We'll see. But can we win a game?
I think the Saints got a chance. We play Carolina next week, and that's the play for who the bottom of the NFC South, and I don't think we're the bottom. So I think we'll get our third win on this.
They got 7. How many losses Panthers got? Let me see.
The Panthers, I don't. They down at the bottom with us. They down at the bottom with us.
They got. Let me see. I don't know. They don't show their record. You see they're down at the bottom with y'all?
Yeah.
Let's see the standings. No, Cowboys is not at the bottom. We're 3-4, and Giants is 2-5. So we're not last. Commanders got a prayer yesterday. Prayer answered. Poor Bears fans. They can't catch a break. Yeah, Panthers are 1-7. So,
Yeah.
Charlotte is one of the nicest places to live, but evidently not to play football.
Right. But the thing is, if they beat us though, we'll both be 2-7, and each one of our wins will be against each other. So we'll be, so we gotta win that one, man. We gotta win that one.
Let's look at what me and you should be really concerned about right now, as far as our NFL teams. All right, so right now, Carolina, they trade somebody? They traded the wide receiver to get the draft pick. So Chicago has number 1 pick right now. New England, Arizona, Commanders. Wait a minute, this must be let me see, 2025. Yeah, 2025. All right, here we go. Arizona. I thought they was winning games.
You looking at the
who's right now?
If the draft was the day, who would have the first pick? Okay, got you.
Okay, let's see. When was it? This was 14 hours ago. All right, so Carolina. Carolina will have the number 1 pick. They got a number 1 quarterback. Titans, Patriots, Jets, number 4, Jaguars, number 6, Saints. So, leave the third string quarterback in?
No, man, I don't. I'm not a tank guy. Tank for the number 1 pick, man. I think we just need. There's quarterbacks not signed right now, or quarterbacks on somebody else's roster who's sitting behind someone.
There's not a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL. Man. That's the problem with it. That is the ultimate problem with the NFL. There is not a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL.
Man, I take Jameis Winston right now. I would be happy with Jameis right now. There's a few quarterbacks out there that like we don't have an NFL quarterback right now. The guys we got in there need some more years of college.
Well, Rattler got like 6 years of college, so that's he's got quite a few years of college. Yeah. But I was trying to find Jameis Winston when in the beginning of the game they asked him like, what do you think about the game? He's like, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Amen. So what are you gonna do? What kind of plays? We're just gonna just trust in God. Did they win? The Browns, right? He plays for the Browns. I think he plays for the Browns. So you would take Jameis Winston
over Rattler? Yeah.
Oh, you want him back?
Yeah, I'll take him back.
Well, Rattler is on the team.
That's what I'm saying. He's on the team. I take him over him. He's not. He's
Oh, it's over Rattler.
Yeah, over Rattler for sure.
Well, you got Carr coming back, and you paid him. Hey, when you pay a quarterback, you're stuck with him.
Yeah.
Unless you can trade him,
No, there ain't nobody trading for Carr. We got Carr until he decides to retire. But he might not be long for the league. Like I said, we talked him out of retirement, man. We threw so much money at him. He was like, okay, I'm not going to retire. Carr did not. Carr wasn't. He wasn't interested in playing football after he left the Raiders.
I mean, can you blame him? He was with the Raiders. So, I mean, no, I can't blame him. Once again, they lose. They figure out a way to get beat at the end by the Chiefs. I don't watch Chiefs games, but I knew what the result would be. But the tight end that the Raiders have, the kid from Georgia, he's just as good as the NFL as he was in Georgia. Bowers.
Yeah.
So they got us some upside there. But 2-6, we're 3-4. We're getting ready to be. I looked at the schedule last night, and I believe we're getting ready to be 3-8. Let's see, Falcons and ATL, and then Eagles at home, Texans at home, Commanders at home. Commanders at home for Thanksgiving. No. We're at the Commanders before Thanksgiving. Then we're at home for the Giants. So we may win. You know what? Jerry Jones is going to save. He's going to salvage his money. Okay, he's going to have a win on Thanksgiving in front of the whole world. Now I don't know about the. I need to check on that guy's job. That radio host that he threatened to. Did you see that?
Who?
Oh, I have to send it. I have to pull it up here.
A radio host threatened who job?
No, he threatened a radio host's job.
Jerry Jones?
Yeah.
For talking about the Cowboys?
Asking them some tough questions.
Uh-oh. That's going around, family. No one wants to be asked tough questions. No one wants to be asked tough questions.
He said, let me go get it.
Man, there was a stat in the game last night, though. The 49ers, the tight end caught his 500 catch, and, so it put him in the 500 club.
Yeah. And
it was showing everybody else who was in the 500 club for the 49ers. And Terrell Owens was in second place with he had almost 600 catches as a nine. I didn't know he had that many. I didn't know he was in second place. He didn't spend too much time with the Niners. But in in last place, your guy had just made the club. He was at 500. But number one was Jerry Rice with over 1,200 catches. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It wasn't even close. He doubled everybody else. And I was like, man, look at that. That's from when the 49ers was in the division with the Saints, man. I saw a lot of those catches. Jerry Rice and the 49ers just messing over the Saints, and it was another one of them things that man, can't get away from the Saints getting got. Even when I'm watching a different game, I'm reminded of the greatness of Jerry Rice and how he used to score touchdowns on the Saints 2 times a year.
I'm trying to find that Jerry Jones thing. Let me see. Yeah, so this was after it was. Let me see. It was after.
He's gonna sneak that.
My bad.
He's gonna sneak
it
that.
It was an ad, man.
Back when you said where are you going to get the players, you can't get them this week and you're aware of all the off-season topics.
So basically, hold on. What happened? So basically, like I said in the beginning, he didn't spend any money in free agency. So this radio station is 105.3 The Fan in Dallas and DFW. And that's basically the Cowboys flagship station, right? Now, I don't know. Now, I have an interesting take at the end of this, but I don't know if he has any ownership stake in it. The way he's talking, he might. Maybe, to be the flagship station, like 91, the Sports Animal is the flagship station of the Thunder here. Maybe, the owner of the team or whatever has something to do with the ownership or whatever. I don't know how that works, but he didn't spend any money in the free agency, and the Cowboys suck. Okay? The players are not good enough to be successful across the board on the roster. We have a ton of injuries, but so the second string is like basically preseason players. So because you didn't go out and spend money to get players the way you needed to, the way everybody else did. That's successful. Detroit. Okay, so they're asking them about this right now.
Jerry, I think the counter back when you said where are you going to get the players, you can't get them this week is, and you're aware of all the off-season topics.
Yeah, but what is your counter? What is your damn counter?
My counter
I
is
really want to know where you would go get it. Now, don't tell me about should gotten a guy in the off season.
why not?
This isn't a damn word argument. Just because I'm not arguing with you, I'm dealing with how we line up against San Francisco, not what I did wrong last week or last month or 2 months ago or 2 years ago. If I really gave you guys a list of all the things I've done wrong over the last few years, you couldn't be on this program for the next 5 years steady and go over it. But every now and then you do some right things, and at the end of the day you add it up, and the rights give you a better spot than the wrongs. But if you think for any minute right now, there'll be one Super Bowl champion. What did the others do wrong? There's one Super Bowl champion. Now, we want to be that champion. And I'm sure not throwing the towel in today because of what happened out there Sunday. But I'm not going to sit here and waste a lot of energy, a lot of time. Let's talk about what that should.
This is after we got stomped by Detroit. Now, like I said, we had a lot of injuries, okay, but not – if you would have done something in free agency, you wouldn't have been getting stomped 47 to, I think it was 9 or something like that. Okay, the second string would have been able to do something. Something.
Should have done back in 1907 or 2017. Shit, Ben. Come on. I've got more time than that, and I actually don't even have time on this great show for looking back at decisions.
Okay. So, Jerry, 1970, a little different from this past off season in building the team we're talking about today, which there was a lot of criticism that you guys didn't add, didn't spend, and don't add, and don't spend, and are not aggressive enough with some of the problems that are still haunting the Cowboys today that we see play out on the field. That's the point of talking about the off season.
Oh, I remember those criticisms very well. Okay, so what?
Or are they playing out to be accurate?
What's your point?
My point is, it seems like
Listen, let me tell you what I'll do. About it. I will let us sit down and look at the decisions we've made over the last several years. Okay? I'll look at it. Now, if you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over a radio and sitting here and throwing all the good out with the dishwater, you have got to be smoking something over there this morning. I'm not. And I really don't, and I don't even want our listeners to listen to me, to talk about, this is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask why.
Get a job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
Yeah. So my initial thoughts on it is when I originally heard it, I was like, well, first of all, that's 105's fault for giving him ownership, or would it given him enough say so at some point? I don't know, behind closed doors or some agreement or when they was playing golf, they had an agreement or something. Or he invited the station owners or the station manager to his yacht. Whatever agreement they got going on at 105, where he thinks he can come on here and say something like that, that's their fault for putting that into motion in the first place. He should not have any type. They should be separate. Now, like I said, in order to be a flagship station, excuse me, in order to be a flagship station, I don't know what goes into, the documentation and all that stuff with the NFL. I don't, but you can't. You got to be able to. That's why I love internet radio, because you got to be able to be, ask questions and then feel free to do that. And you don't have this thing over my head, So I don't. that's first of all, it's crazy what he said. You know, he's just upset because they asking questions that the fans want answers to. We want answers to why you haven't spent money in free agency. Right. Okay, and you getting upset because I mean you don't want to be asked the question. I mean, yeah, but they shouldn't have given him the ownership or whatever they gave him.
So there's a couple things there. The first thing is Jerry saying what that guy's job is, and his job is not to ask those questions. That Jerry's wrong about that. That guy's job is to ask those questions, especially the questions that the fans want to know. And that was a fair question. Like, hey, you didn't spend any money in the off season, and it looks like that's catching up to you now. What do you have to say about that? In Jerry's defense, his response to that question was also fair. Jerry was like, look, man, who are you to question me and the mistakes I made? I've made a bunch of mistakes. I'm probably gonna make some more mistakes, but I've also did some right things.
True,
I'm not gonna talk about that with you right now. Like I'm gonna tell, I could talk about what's going. And at that time, it was the game before San Francisco. They'd already lost. I'm not gonna talk about what happened in the loss. I'm looking forward to San Francisco and what can we do to be better there. Another thing that he didn't say is he could say y'all could say I didn't spend money in the off season on bringing in new players, but I did spend money in keeping who I thought was valuable. He spent money on CD,
and
he spent money on Dak. So I have spent money in the areas that I think are important. Again, it's your right to disagree with me on that, and you can, but you're not the one making these decisions. I am, and that's the decision I made. I'm good with it. I'm gonna live with it. So his response to that was good as well. I think was fine. And if the hosts want to push back on that, then keep going. Where Jerry is wrong is that he say, hey, I'm going to get somebody else in here then who's going to ask more questions that I like. And to answer your question is how does he get that power? Is because whatever number it is that flagship station is, there's another number a few dials down in that same city who would love to be the flagship station. And Jerry knows like, hey, if I say I'm going to take this show to that station, they're going to accept it. And if they know I took that show to that station because I didn't like these questions they were asking me, they are not going to ask me those questions. So that's the way he's able to do that with his power, and it's not anything illegal. And that's why that coach was, I mean, not the coach, but the host, once he heard his job get threatened, he was like, oh, hey, Jerry, we just trying to, and then Jerry doubled down on it like, nah, I'm not laughing with you. I get you out of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Jerry is wrong. I think that's bully. I would have came back like, well, you do what you're going to do, man. But you know what I'm saying? I think you were wrong for not going after people in the off season. Like you should listen. Maybe in this next meeting you go to, you should talk to somebody about bringing some people in here in the off season. You know what I'm saying? Stand your ground. And if your station let Jerry bully you out of the way, you know what I'm saying? Your station let Jerry bully you out of the way, and you go somewhere else.
He's going to the meeting with the owners, and to him, the owners can't tell him nothing because they not $10.1 billion in what do you call it? Worth.
Right. Yeah. That's
so. And every year it goes up.
Yeah.
Now how I think we play. I think they play. They're at Atlanta. I think they're at Atlanta. Yeah, they're at Atlanta Sunday.
Now, Atlanta, that team, man, they never look. You be like, oh, we could beat them, and they always find a way.
No, we're not beating them.
They keep finding ways, man. They keep finding ways to win.
We're not beating them. Then they play home. They play at home on November 10th. So my question is, how once we're 3-5, we're going to be 3-5. What those ticket prices going to look like?
No, the same.
Now,
same way they looked last week.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, the people have the power. And that's not just in the government, that's everywhere. Okay, that's everywhere. So the people have the power. If Cowboys fans, if you guys, and you can talk to these Saints fans too, if you guys are sick and tired of your team putting on the display on the field, then don't show up. That's how you can make your voices heard. Don't show up. That's how you can do it. I don't give the Cowboys ratings. I got a different way I watch the game. I'm not gonna say it on here, but I don't have no subscription. I don't pay for cable, so they don't get ratings from me. Now they probably get ratings from whoever putting on the stream, but that's not FBI. Don't come get me, but just don't show up. That's what they can do. Just don't show up. And the same thing, like I hear people talking about Kirk Franklin and the other artists and stuff. That some of these artists, I hear the things they're doing and everything. It's the same thing. Just don't support them. Don't buy the ticket prices to the concerts. Don't buy the albums. Don't buy the songs. Don't stream the songs. Don't support them if that's how you really feel. And it's the same way in sports.
Now, what happened with Kirk Franklin?
Well, he did it's not that he did that song with Glorilla, and I didn't even know who Glorilla was until he did the song with her. I had to look up who she was. But he did that, and then the stuff that he be dancing, he be gyrating on stage at the concerts. And some of the stuff, I wasn't like spiritually inclined when I was a child and all that stuff. And as I've grown spiritually as a man of God, I'm seeing things with I got discernment. I'm seeing some things now that I really didn't see before. So he's been doing that. What he's doing now on stage, he's been doing that for a long time. So but yeah, there's a lot of people call him a fake Christian. They call him out, and he actually came out and said he's sick and tired of hearing people talk about him dancing, and he said you guys are starting to piss me off, always wanting to talk about scripture and stuff, wanting to refer to scripture for every answer and everything in life. He said you guys are really starting to piss me off, and I just, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on, that's to me that's you should never say that, But like I said, and people were upset at Tasha Cobbs when she had Nicki Minaj on her album, or was she on Nicki Minaj's album? No, I think she had Nicki Minaj on her album, and to me, I don't have no problem with that. Now, are there hundreds of other rap artists, Christian rap artists that you can work? Yeah, I think I think I can name 5 female Christian rap artists that are better than Nicki Minaj. Is she a rap artist or she's singing too? I don't know. I mean, I don't really listen to her. But yeah, there's other rappers that you could have chosen other than Nicki Minaj. But like I said, I know what this is. It's a business. 9% is the business, 10% is probably ministry. So I know what that was about. But I said the same thing. If you don't like it, just stop supporting her. Stop supporting her. Stop buying her tickets, prices to her tours, and all that stuff. You don't have to come out and bash her on social media all day long. Just stop. You yourself just stop supporting her. But you got a right to make statements that you want to make. But I don't have a problem with somebody. If they want to work with those artists, I don't have a problem with them bringing them on their platform, on their album. What I have an issue with is you going on their stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But you do whatever you want to do. They grown people. They making their business decisions. That's what it is. But I'm saying you. A lot of them are saying, like Jordan Armstrong and some other people, some other gospel artists, don't tell us who to work with. I'm not telling you who to work with. Now, the people that's supporting you financially is telling you who to, like the Christians and people that go to church and stuff that's really buying your stuff, buying your ticket prices, buying your T-shirts, really supporting you. They coming out and saying, "Hey, what in the world are you doing with her?" So you want to tell those people to stop telling you what to do? Okay, and that's fine, but that's that's what you, that's what you just know there may be repercussions behind it. Like, I'm not buying the stuff, so I say whatever I want to say, or whatever you do, whatever you want to do, and then it ain't gonna affect me. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, if I don't support you, it ain't gonna affect you. But the thousands of people that are, and you can check the comment sections and stuff that are coming out against them doing that. Those are the people that are actually, the reason why they're saying that is because they're actually supporting them financially. They're buying the stuff. When Kirk Franklin has his reunion tour and he puts up ticket prices for $80, people is paying for that. And those people are coming out and saying, hey man, what's up with this? But he's been doing that. Where y'all been? He's been doing this. He had MC Light on the song on the God's Property album. Was it MC Light? Yeah, it was MC Light.
I didn't know that, but I like MC Light. I like MC Light, man.
Compared to these other rappers now, is like night and day. So, but he had he's done it before, and I don't even know how we got on this, but always talking about Jerry Jones. But
just real quick question. So, if I don't have a problem with them being I don't have a problem with gospel artists working with secular artists. I don't have a problem with secular artists being on gospel artists album, but I really don't have a problem. And this is the question: like, so say if a secular artist came to you as a gospel artist and like, hey, I wanna work with you. I want you to be on this song, and y'all agree on the song that y'all gonna be on, and because you're a gospel artist, your message is gonna always be the gospel. What if you being on that record is the only chance their audience is going to get to hear the gospel the way you're the gospel from you? Like, they're going to get to hear the gospel from you on this song because you're on this record.
No, that's the argument that's being made. That's the argument that's being made. Well, because that album that they're on, and I googled the lyrics. So I talked about. I did a TikTok, and it's going viral. I googled the lyrics on the first song, and it's just I'm not surprised. It's what it is. So it's the arguments is being made. Well, because Kirk Franklin and Chandler Moore and Maverick City is on this one song on this album, everybody that's her fans or whatever, they're gonna see them, and then they're gonna go and see who is Maverick City, who is Kirk Franklin, who is Chandler Moore. They should know who Chandler Moore and Kirk Franklin is, because Chandler Moore did the song with Will Smith. And he did some other stuff. All these people have been to the Grammys. They've been to the Dove Awards, BET Awards. They've been to all the parties. Okay, so that is already, your name is out there already. Okay, so you don't have to get on this girl's album in order for these people to see who you are, because the same people that she hangs with, y'all hang with. And it's been happening. Now you're making me talk about these people in the industry now. The same people that she hang with, y'all hang with. And it's been documented, people taking pictures of y'all in the parties and stuff and all that. Y'all fired Dante Bowe because he was doing some stuff at the parties, even though y'all at the same parties. These people know who you are, okay? So you don't have to go on this girl's album in order to get these people to see who you are. The same thing could happen if she was on your album too. Okay, because on Spotify, how Spotify works, if somebody's on an album or on any song, it'll show up on that artist. It'll show up. So no, I don't. For them, I don't accept that. I think that she could have, hey, you come on my platform. Okay, you can come on my platform if that's the agreement that she wants to do a song with. Okay, yeah, you can do a song with me on my album. You can do a song on my album, okay? But no, I don't accept that for them. And that's the argument they're using. That's the argument. That was the argument that Nicki Minaj used, And like I said, there was on her album. Only issue I had with that was you got a whole bunch of other, CHH or Christian hip or gospel hip or whatever you want to call them, female artists that are dope. I think they're better than Nicki Minaj. But I know how the business side of it is. Okay? And that's what that was. But that's the argument that could be, that's the argument that's being made for that. Well, her fans are gonna see these people. Now they're gonna get introduced to the gospel because of that. Or even if they're not, it's 5%. So I guess what people 5% out of 95% is gospel. That's good enough.
Right. So my point is, like, even if they don't, after they play the song on Gorillaz album, they go and listen to Kirk Franklin's another album from Kirk Franklin or his catalog. I'm just saying, whatever message he said on that song, and I haven't heard the song, but whatever he said on that song, is that pointing? Is that telling the gospel? If that's the only thing they hear about him, they at least they heard the gospel from him. You know what I'm saying? That's the argument I would make for doing it. Like, yeah, I'm doing it because I'm on it, and I don't care what they say around me around the song. Like, what they hear from me is going to be the gospel.
No, because it reminds me of playing church. You know, it reminds me of, hey, you know what? I do whatever I want to do Monday through Saturday, but on Sunday, I'm going to go get my blessing because I'm going to go to this building and I'm going to go to hear the worship and I'm going to hear the preacher. And I know God's going to bless me for that. You know, I'm doing what I need to do for God, because, you know, this is, you know, it's Sunday. What else? I'm supposed to go to church on Sunday. I'm supposed to, you know, put on my church clothes and, you know, go to church because it's Sunday. Because this is the time, this is the day that I need to be honoring God. Or this is the 2 hours that I need to be honoring God. So that's why I say no, because it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that lifestyle, that misconception of what true Christianity is. Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy 24/7, not just on not just on 2 hours of Sunday. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna just leave you alone just because you go to church on Sunday. So no, that reminds me of that. So no, I wouldn't. I don't accept the argument, but a lot of gospel radio people do. They were at, you know, Spin Awards this weekend. I couldn't go because I had to do the sound for the open mic, but I'm at odds with a lot of them on that. And it's not just this, it's other stuff about, you know, because they cover the Grammys and they cover the BET Awards and stuff. Oh, congratulations to Lil Wayne for winning the, like, what are you doing? You know, what are you doing? Like, I mean, you know, I am. And then sometimes when some of these artists, like some of these secular artists, whatever, they get up there, you know, I just want to thank God for giving me this. I'm like, thank God. Did you listen to his album? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, God is in that, but that's a quote unquote thing, whatever. But I think to answer your question, no, I don't. I think that reminds me of I'm just gonna do whatever I got. I'm gonna do whatever I want Monday through Saturday, and then I'm gonna go to church, you know, to get right. That's what that reminds me of, and that is a misconception. And I grew up, you know, that, and there's some churches, there's some people that truly believe, you know, that's the way to live, and that's not the way to live. You should do your best to die daily. Right, but that's so no, I don't accept that. That's okay because 5% of Christianity was on this 95% demonic album, and I googled the lyrics. I don't have to listen to the song. I mean, I googled the lyrics.
The Kirk Franklin song or one of the other songs on
the other songs.
The other songs, gotcha. Yeah, right. Okay.
But that's what they want to do. That's first of all, that's between them and God. If they want to go work with her, go in those studios or whatever. I don't know what studio they went into. I don't know who called who. I don't know who set it up. I probably can find out, but I don't have enough energy.
I can tell you, man. As the record labels, and that's one thing about, like, when we talk about we the people, and when it comes to the music industry, you boycotting Kirk Franklin is not going to stop Kirk Franklin. Like the machine behind Kirk Franklin is
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but some of the machine. That's what I was saying. A lot of the machine now is a lot of them coming out and saying, "What in the world are you doing?" And I'm saying, where have y'all been? This is not nothing new. Like the gyrating on stage and then working with Glorilla, this is not nothing new. So, but glory be to God. The discernment. When discernment is found and discovered, we want it to be discovered at all times. At some point, we want the Holy Spirit to talk to everybody. To be moved by it. We want to be walking in the Spirit. At some point, for everybody needs to be walking in the Spirit that knows Jesus Christ. So the machine is some of the machine is coming out.
I'm saying that,
but I don't think it's going to be enough. But
I'm saying the people who are coming out is not the machine, is not the record label that's behind Kirk Franklin. The people that are coming out are fans who are like, "Hey, Kirk, I don't think you should be doing this." And again, like you said, it's not anything new because he's. I think you said he's tired of people doing it. So fans have been doing it. Like
he came out and said that after people was in his comments calling him out.
Yeah.
Like, well, what is this?
Yeah.
And then he made the video. Y'all starting to piss me off, and I mean, to his defense, he does. Now I seen him have a conversation with the guy, like with the street preacher, open air street preacher, that was outside of his one of his concerts. He was a white dude, and he said, "Hey man, I don't agree with you, but let's sit down and have a conversation." And he brought Tony Evans. I don't know if he still goes to Tony Evans' church. I think he goes to Potter's house now. But he had Tony Evans in there. And no, he had Tony Evans on the phone. And they was having a conversation theologically and whatever. Dude, I think it's still on YouTube. Dude was calling him out. The white dude was calling him out on like the red, how he is and working with artists and going to these parties. Because I think he was waiting on him outside of a party. Saying he did the same thing. This dude did the same thing to Lecrae. He was waiting on him outside of a party. Outside of one of those, I don't think it was a Diddy party. I think it was something else. Might have been. I don't know. But
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't know what it was, but it was one of those. It was a party that he was, or a concert or something. I don't know, but he was waiting on him. He was like preaching outside of it, and then Lecrae was like, "Hey man, you shouldn't be doing this, blah blah." And then he starting, you apostate, and he just they was going at it and stuff. But Kirk Franklin actually invited the guy to have a conversation, and then there's a video of him and a guy having a conversation. They're disagreeing, but at least he did that. A lot of these gospel artists won't do that. So I do commend him from doing that. I don't know how many times he's done that, but I do commend him from doing that. Let's take we're gonna take a break. This is the Conservative as Christ show. Let's see what we got coming up. Tonight, 6 p.m. Nick Smith will be our artist spotlight interview tonight on 6 p.m. Instagram Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and on the Jam on KC86 radio app. You don't want to miss it. We're going to have him here. Me and Pastor Matt Von Wall is going to be interviewing him. It's going to be actually part of the 5-6 show, so you don't want to miss that. This Friday, Pastor Matt Von Wall, we're going to be worshiping on the rooftop, November the 1st. Yeah, November the 1st. Worshiping on the rooftop. That's going to be great. At Coffee Slingers. So where the location is of the open mic night, that's where we're going to be at. We're going to be on top, on the rooftop at 6 p.m. I got to make sure I get that time right. But I believe it's 6 p.m. But you don't want to miss that. Also, November the 2nd, the Birthing Room will be having their live recording at Faith Church at 7 p.m. If you have not been to a live recording, you have to go. It is a thing to see. Be patient. That's all I got to say. Be patient when you're at the live recording. Sometimes they have to restart things and do songs over again. All right. This is I'm going to set the LJ show. This is a Conservative Christ show. We'll be right back.
My graduation day, you came to me until you remain, until you remain, until you remain, until you remain. Take out the ambition, strip away the idols we've made. Come be the center, come and clear the stage until you remain, until you remain, until you remain, until you remain, until you remain. I go down on my knees, crying, thank you, God. Your hand on my back, saying I love you, son. That day I learned your love goes beyond four walls, beyond four walls. 2024, I've got some metal scars, and through it all, you never changed who you are.
Right now,
Guess who? Nobody got nothing on us.
you're locked in to the greatest station, KLRJ Jam OKC 86 Radio.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Welcome back to the Conservative as Christ show. So happy to be with you guys. The open mic night was great. We had a great time. Had some free pizza, Hideaway Pizza. Mars Coleman brought the house down. Had some great artists perform. If you want to sign up, just sign up now. November the 29th is our next open mic night. After that, we're going to have our artist development class November 30th right here at the station. 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be about writing. Mr. Jay Nice coming from Austin, Texas. That's the only thing good in Austin is Jay Nice.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
He's going to be teaching the class. I think along with somebody else, but yeah, that's Austin does have one good thing in it. That is Jay Nice. Yeah. What do you mean? Come on.
Austin got a few more good things, man. Austin got a few more good things than Jay Nice, man. Come on.
Oh well, I just tell the truth how I see it.
All my Austin people stand up, man. All my Austin people stand up.
Well, it's just the school. It just taints everything else. So, if they take the school out, maybe everything else would be good. If they take that dirty school out.
When I first got here, I used to talk to, I wouldn't argue, but talk with OU fans, and I let them know, like, do you know every time you buy that Texas Longhorn symbol to hang it upside down, you're supporting Texas. Like, even though you're hanging it upside down, you're supporting them when you buy that. You know that, like.
Oh, you talking about the actual logo?
Yeah, the logo. Like people.
No, that's why you buy. I make sure it says OU. I don't buy it though, but that's the reason why I don't buy it, because my high school mascot is a Longhorn. So
yeah,
I do the horns down with this hand. This is my high school mascot, but it's just but make sure it says OU on it before you do that. Yeah. Make sure it says OU on it before you do that. But so we was talking about Kirk Franklin and everything. Remind me, I don't know, music in the church is, church music and all that stuff it has changed and shifted and all that stuff. And I wonder when I look at the black church, I grew up in black church and stuff, I wonder how effective is these music ministries now, because I used to be a choir director and at a church here in Oklahoma City, a black church, okay, and I left. Now, people will tell you that I left the quote-unquote, I'm one of those people that left the quote-unquote black church, okay? I go to a non-denominational church. It's out of Assembly of God, but we don't operate that way, okay? I was a choir director, and I was trying to introduce a new system, a new operation, new schedule. Okay, because when I got there, it was like, okay, let's just we come to rehearse, but we're not learning anything new. We're just learning some stuff that we're just singing some things that we sung as kids. For every mountain, what's the name of that song? Thank you, Lord, for all you done for. We're singing that stuff. We're singing basically things that were wrote in the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s. Okay, and this was 2008, 9, and 10. Okay, so we're basically singing that stuff. We ain't singing nothing wrote in the 2000s, nothing that was on the Wild Gospel albums when they came. I think 1998 when the Wild Gospel first put out their albums. We ain't singing nothing like that. Okay, and so I met this guy that was a music pastor at a church in Dale City, and we had coffee. He was telling me his schedule, how he does his schedule, how he, practices, how he does his rehearsals and everything. And I tried to bring that over to the church that I was at. Okay, this old school type of gospel, whatever, and the mindset. I tried to bring that over there, and it was not welcomed well. Okay. It was welcome with a lot of pushback, a lot of, I don't want to really do that. You know what I'm saying? I hear what you're saying, but this ain't my job. Okay, and in their defense, it's not your job. But why are these people over here doing it voluntarily? Going to the rehearsal, learning the songs outside of rehearsal, showing up Sunday on time and singing and playing the right things. Why are they doing that voluntarily? Okay. And then why am I getting a bunch of pushback? Because I'm saying, hey, basically what I did is I said, hey, we're going to start doing some new songs. Okay. I went to the gospel. This one, Sterling Mitchell still had his store in Dale City, the Gospel World music store, where you can go and buy the chord chart books for albums. So we went in there and bought. The church allowed me to go in there and buy Vasson Mitchell, Ricky Dillard, Israel Houghton, some of the new stuff. Okay, now it was still choir. We can still sing the choir stuff, but they allowed me to go in there and buy these chord chart books. So I bought them for the organ player. Okay, I bought them for the organ player. He said, yeah, because he told me this is what I need in order to play the new stuff. You want me to play the new stuff? Okay, I need the chord charts. Okay, so he, it's not like the chord charts now. Like when you go on multitracks.com and you can buy like where it says A minor, B minor, C, with the actual words and stuff. He wanted the actual bar graph things with the little dots, and so that's what the
music notes. He wanted
the music notes.
Yeah, he wanted to. Yeah.
So I bought that for him, and he was learning everything. And I was introducing new songs. And what happened was people just did not want to get with the program because they had the ability to just show up on Sunday and just sing the song that they're singing because they don't sing anything new. They're singing stuff that they've been singing for 10 years, for 15 years, okay? So they don't sing anything new. Now I'm introducing some new songs that came out last week, and it's on the radio. It's on. I think we had Apple. I think we had iTunes back then. I think I had Amazon Music and stuff, but it's it's in rotation. It's new stuff, I created a system to where if you didn't show up to rehearsal, you could not just show up on Sunday and sing the song because you wasn't at rehearsal. So I really wanted to reward people for being at rehearsal, and I wanted to sing some new stuff. Now they all thinking, a lot of them was everybody up there was older than me, so they probably thinking, well, this young kid is trying to teach us all this new stuff. We ain't got time for this or whatever, and that's what I was actually told, So, but I introduced that. I introduced the new things, the new songs, a new way of rehearsing, and everybody bought a choir robe. Okay, this is when we was doing the choir robes. I think people still do them now. So everybody purchased a choir robe. I think it was like $50 or something like that. If you want to have a choir robe, it was like $50. You ordered it from Gospel World Music from Sterling Mitchell, the same store that we bought the chord books at, the music books. So, because he did choir robes and he did the preacher robes. Yeah, so we ordered them, and I think I didn't order one because I was like, I don't understand why we got this. What's the choir? Why are we doing choir? So I didn't order one, But so anyway, so Sunday people showed up. Okay. People that wasn't at rehearsal, they showed up, and they showed up basically just clapping their hands because they don't know the song. And I started, and then for the next rehearsal, I said, "Well, I think after church, I had a meeting with everybody. I said, look, if you don't show up at rehearsal, you can't come up here and sing. It does not. It's a bad look for you to be up here clapping your hands and you don't know the songs. That's disrespectful to the people that show up at rehearsal. That's disrespectful to this church. That's disrespectful to God. It's just you should have. Now I didn't really smooth go off on them, but like, hey, you should have some integrity. You should have some personal accountability. You should have some personal responsibility to not want to do that to yourself, And so, and I got a lot of pushback because I was told, well, I bought a robe, so I should be able to come up here. I don't care about you buying a robe. I think I actually said that. What does that have to do with it? I don't care about what does it have to do with it. You bought a robe. I didn't tell you to buy a robe.
Who told them to buy the robes?
They bought the robe because they wanted the robe. Because it's the church finally got choir robes. They had the church, name on it, whatever, and they just want to buy a robe to have one.
So the pastor of the church was like, "Hey, we got these robes for the choir."
Yeah, they got these robes for the choir. And if you guys, you want to buy one, here's a robe.
So the pastor told him to buy a robe.
No, he didn't. No, it was a voluntarily thing. He didn't tell him to buy a robe. He said, "Hey, we got these robes made. Okay, they're basically for sale." That's what they're basically. You know what I'm saying? There, if you want, this is like having a T-shirt or whatever. If you want one, okay, they're $15. That's how it was. If you want a robe, they're $50. So right. Nobody made you buy a robe.
But a regular member wouldn't just go buy a choir robe.
No. You have to be in the choir.
You have to be in the choir.
Yeah, right. You got to be in the choir.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to be in the choir. So anyway, what I was getting told a lot is I bought a choir robe. I should be able to come up here and sing. Yes, you should be able to come up here and sing. But if you're not coming to rehearsal, the requirement to sing on Sunday is to come to rehearsal. And they did not like that, man. They was, fighting me tooth and nail, going to the trustees, going to the deacon board. Going to they pulled the music pastors aside. Who is this boy telling me that I can't come? And, I got pushed back from the pastor and stuff, and the pastors pulled me to the side like, well, they've been at this church for a long time, and, they good tithers. And I said, well, in all due respect, I'm not concerned with any of that. And if you want to get somebody else up here, that's fine with me. That was my response to him. I said, I'm not concerned with how much they tithe, now, what I'm saying right now, anybody that has been in the black church, they're in the black church right now, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's it is one of those quiet parts being said out loud. I don't care about the tithing. I don't care about how long they've been there. I don't care if their daddy was a pastor. I care about I care about us having some integrity and having things done the right way. Like, care and try. Okay? I feel like like I said, voluntarily, these people over here, they're listening to the song on the way to work. They're listening to the song at least once before they get up to the rehearsal, so they know something of the song. But at the same time, I'm saying have some integrity, have some accountability to come in here and tell me, I can't do this. This is not me. This is not, my schedule doesn't work that way. I'm gonna have to just go and sit in the pews, and then maybe my schedule, turns and I can, be in a choir again, and I'll do that. Not to just go around, start rumors, and do all this other conniving stuff, but because you don't want to change, you don't like to change. But yes, and then so I tried to individually, the music pastor, he was trying to save his job. He was like, well, we got to put some old school songs in there to get the people back up there in the choir stand. And because I had told him, I don't care if I got 3 people. If I got 1 alto, 1 soprano, 1 tenor, I'm good with that. If I got 3 of and that's what happened. It went down from like 50 to like 15 or something like that. And I was like, that's good enough. And then the pastor and all the deacons or whatever, they was, how can you say that's good enough? And you got, because you want how many people did Gideon have to begin with? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want the people that's there to be, that's consistent and that they support the program, and they're there to have the integrity, to have the accountability, and have the discipline, and they want to do it. I don't want to be trying to make adults do something they don't want to do. That is my biggest pet peeve in being a music pastor, is trying to get adults to do something they don't want to do. You don't want to play the music, you don't want to sing the songs, you don't want to learn the songs or whatever, just don't do it. I'm not asking you to do something you don't want to do, but have some integrity and accountability to come and tell me that you don't want to do that. But sometimes I feel like you gotta push the issue a little bit. Like, hey, like I had the conversations with a lot of the members or whatever. Hey, do you actually want to do this? Because the ones that would come tell me, well, because I would like make a CD and tell everybody, hey, if you need to listen to the song, I got CDs that I'll make it. We used to on Windows Media burn the CDs. Yeah. I said I can make a CD for anybody that needs to listen to the song before they come to rehearsal or during the week. And so I had this lady, well, something wrong with my CD player. That's probably what it is. That's why I don't listen to the song. Okay, so let me go ahead and look at it. Wasn't nothing wrong with the CD player. You just don't want to do it. And I just wonder is, since 2008, that's when I left. No, I left in 2010. Is it still, has it gotten worse, or is it still like now? What I've heard, it's gotten worse, but as a music, I'm not trying to rant. Okay, this is the music pastor rant, but I just don't like trying to get adults to do stuff they don't want to do. Okay, if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to play, you don't want to sing the songs, okay, then just don't. Go to your music pastor and say, hey, this is not working out for me. I'm looking at the camera. Go to your music pastor and say, hey, this is not working out for me. I can't do it. I can't sing the songs, can't learn the songs. I don't have time. Let me tell you something. You make time for what you make time for. Tell me I don't have time. You got time to do all the other stuff that you're doing, okay? Don't just I didn't forgot you on the show. I'm sorry.
No, man.
I'm over here. I didn't forgot you on the show.
Man, I have many friends who are pastors or lead music ministries at churches, and there's a lot of different off ramps in between the extreme positions. But one position is like you say, because it's a time requirement. One guy's like, hey man, I can, what you asking for, I can be there for practice, I can be there to learn the songs and everything, but that again, it's a time requirement. That's going to cost something. They feel that music, people who lead worship, they should be compensated for that. There's the other side who's like, nope, this is 100% for God. And like you say, we find other times to do other things that we enjoy. We can find the time to do this as well.
And I'm not saying now there's churches like my church now, the VFC, Victory Family Church. The musicians, they practice throughout the week, and then, they come together once a week to practice, I think. But, I'm saying just listen to it on your way to work.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, listen to it once in the week on your way to work or something. And then when we get to rehearsal, something of it. It's not this big shock to you. But
or the other side that could be, they could be like, well, that could be what rehearsal's for. If I'm coming to rehearsal, let's give rehearsal enough time to listen to the song and to learn the song. Like let's do that. And
yeah. I mean, in a perfect, and churches that got it like that.
Yeah.
But some churches, I'm not trying to tell them. Some churches don't have. Some churches don't have it like that, like it should be. Okay, it's just like where you got the time to do that, but in order for that to happen, everybody has to be in line with doing that. The musicians, the singers, all have to be not talking, focused, like for that whole hour of learning that song. You know what I'm saying? But
or it may need, or maybe it needs to be longer than 2 hours. But the what I want to make though is whichever direction you choose, you just need to make sure you have buy-in on it. Like when your thing went down from 50 to 15, it would have, if you guys would have stuck with that, it would have grew again. Because then the people who are coming around and seeing what y'all doing, who want to be a part of it, they would be a part of it, and they would take the time sacrifice to come to the meeting and listen to the songs, and it would grow again. But it went it down to 15, like, hey, this is 15 who really believe in the vision. I think that would have grew into something powerful. But it's also a good thing where like those people like, nah, we don't like this at all, and you go somewhere where they will follow, your vision.
It became the people. A lot of the people that left Lawrence, LJ, they are the biggest tithers. So you need to get them back up there. Okay, when you get somebody else, that's just, and they never would get somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So I woke up one morning, and it was a Sunday morning. I ain't gonna never forget it. I woke up one morning, and because I wasn't getting paid, I woke up one morning and I was like, I was getting ready to go. I was getting ready to put on my suit, my GQ fashion 3-piece suit, and I said, yeah, why am I dealing with this? Why am I doing this? I don't have to. I get up, I go to work Monday through Friday. I go to school. That's when I was in college. And why am I dealing with this? I just got back from deployment a year ago. Why am I dealing with this? I don't have to. And I called the music pastor. I said, yeah, I'm not gonna be there today. Why? Because I'm done. Well, you're not gonna now, yeah, retrospect, I probably should have did that better. I should have talked to him like during the week and say, hey, this coming Sunday is my last Sunday, or I'm done. But at that point, I had felt so disgusted by all the, hey, you need to let the biggest tithers get up there in the choir stand because they're the biggest tithers, and all the rumors and all the, the lies and stuff behind the deceitfulness and stuff because you guys don't want to change. At that point, I was like, forget y'all. Walking in the flesh, you know what I'm saying? I was like, forget these people. What am I getting up and driving all the way from Spencer, Oklahoma to the east side? when I could be sitting at home watching the Cowboys, dealing with that. You know, that's what I was thinking at the time. But I went and joined the church, the guy that I met. Yeah. I went and joined. I played the drums, I sung, and it was awesome, man. 10 years there. But yeah, that's why I didn't stay. And because yes, we had something going. Yeah, it was like a worship team. You know, that's what's in now. The choir things are just going. It's going away. But the worship teams is what's really in. But yeah, that's what happened. I was like, you know what? Why am I doing this? I don't have to. I don't have to deal with it. I really don't. You know. So yeah, but I should have did it better. But I did end up having a conversation with the pastor, and he told me to keep my key, and you know, because he wanted me to come back, and leaving the church, that's just a tough. That's just a. I don't know how to say it. When people leave churches and stuff, and they try to have conversations with the pastor and all that stuff, I don't really know how it can be a neutral agreement or something, you know, without somebody getting upset or somebody. But it wasn't really. He didn't really get upset about it. He was a little bit upset about it, but he was more hurt than anything. But I wish. But you are the senior pastor, and you're watching all this stuff unfold. And when are you going? Then I was told he's not doing that because he's worried about. He just wanted to keep his money flow. I don't know his heart. I don't think that's how he is. But you know what I'm saying. But yeah.
Like the best for him is probably like he mediated where he could. Like he didn't fire you. You know what I'm saying? Like you were still there, even though they had all the people on the other side who was like, "Nah, we don't like anything that this guy's doing." So I think he was like, hey, they're gonna figure it out, you know. And he was letting it go down. That's what I would say he was.
I think that a lot of times in some churches we just quote unquote put up with the mess just to, and you know, some people drama hungry, you know, they love drama, even at church, you know, and I don't, especially coming back from Kuwait. So I was like, look, I just had a lot of drama, so I don't care about you guys not wanting to show up to rehearsal and now you want to get up here and sing, and you've been here for a while, you tired. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I do not care about that. Okay. Now I care enough to have a conversation with you to try to see how I can help you. What can I do to help you? And that's the conversations I had with almost all of them. Hey, what can I do to help you? And they just, I don't care. I'm not, you want me out the choir? I'm out the choir. No, I didn't tell you to get out the choir. I said, come to rehearsal or you can't sing on Sunday. You know, and I guess I'm taking this approach. I'm taking the approach as if you don't practice like a football team, if you don't practice, you can't play in the game because you're not gonna know to play. I'm taking the same approach to that. That's how I was taking it. Okay, if you don't know, we're singing a new song written by Vashawn Mitchell. Okay, you never even heard of Vashawn Mitchell.
I haven't.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about.
I'm saying,
you didn't even heard of Vashawn Mitchell, whatever. But that's because you didn't come to rehearsal. Now, if you don't, I did try to make it. If you don't listen to the song or whatever, and you do come to rehearsal, okay, that's the time we actually go through it. Okay, that's the time we actually. But you got to come to rehearsal. If you don't come to rehearsal, you can't sing on Sunday. Now, I told the pastor and I told the music pastor, hey, that's the standard. If you want me in charge. And that's my standard. That's the standard if you want me in charge of this. If you don't, go get somebody else. No, don't go. No, we're going to get it together. Just be patient. And I just told you what it is. You know, I think it just wasn't registering that like I meant business. You know, and I don't want to say meant business like, hey, I'm really, what I'm saying to you is actually what it is. Like, either go get somebody else or, you know what I'm saying? Go get somebody else or I'm going to let this go. And I think, and I got some friends that's happened to, and because you just get to a point to where, why do I have to beg adults to do stuff? I'm not gonna be begging you to please come to rehearsal, please practice the songs, please. No, this is you're doing this for the Lord. If you don't want to do this, then just say you don't want to do it. Just don't do it. Go. There's other areas in the church you can serve. And I said that too. I said there's other areas in the church you can serve that you have more that your schedule lines up to. That's another problem in a lot of these churches too. But just because when somebody quits something, there's not really nowhere else that they're accepted, that they can go to. But that's what I love about my church now, that because I've seen staff members resign and then they're helping somewhere else now, because there's room for them to do that. Because the pastor believes in family first. Hey, you quit, you resign because that's what's best for your family. So you can come and help out in the parking. You help out in small groups or something. But I told him, hey, there's other areas you can help. No, I wasn't singing in the choir. This is the standard of singing in the choir. You show up for rehearsal, you sing on Sunday. If you don't show up for rehearsal, you can't sing on Sunday. And that was just so far. That mindset and theory was just so far fetched to them. They just couldn't. I was the villain. So I said, well, that's fine. I'll just be the villain. I'll go purchase NFL Red Zone, and I'll watch some Dallas Cowboys, at the house. And that's what I did. Now, I did that for about 2 weeks, and then I went to the church in Dale City. Had a great time.
And so, and you didn't. The pastor didn't ask you to leave from there. You told him like, nah, man, because these people don't want to. I think it's better for me to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, and also because he didn't have I feel like he didn't really have my back on that. It was well, these members were here before me. So not me. I'm talking about him. Like
right.
These they helped build this church. Blah blah blah. They tied. I don't really want to get into it with them. So I don't really want to. So I'm like, okay, here's the key. Here, because I had a key. I used to come up there and, play the music and stuff and all that beforehand. That's also where I got my first radio introduction to the radio industry. Yeah. I did a little show, and 1220 played it every week.
Yeah,
in the basement. So, it was good times, but that's my music pastor rant. If you don't come to rehearsal, you cannot just show up when it's game time. And most churches that got worship teams, they don't do that. They go to rehearse and whatever. What we do at where I am now, we rehearse on the day of. So we rehearse like an hour before.
Yeah, that's what our church does. They come in a little.
So we rehearse an hour before. But the problem with that is if the people don't listen. Now it depends on. Now they have to listen to the songs I feel like you have to listen to the song at least once in the week in order to do that. So you can kind of be now. If you got the words on the screen, that helps out.
Now I know we got words on the screen and everything, but I know
we don't have words on the screen.
But the brother was like, nah, man, we need more than just this hour before church. We need more practice. And so he quit. He was like, hey man, guys, I love worshiping. I love using my talent, but I love
worship.
Yeah, I need more than an hour to prepare. We need to have a scheduled day where we get together and we practice. And the rest of the group wasn't with that. They was like, nah, we good with just this. And so he left. And it was that's to answer your question, how to have those conversations. All it takes is maturity, man. All it takes is people to understand that you getting up here singing before service is not nothing that God needs you to do. You know what I'm saying? God doesn't need any of that. No, we taking ourselves way too seriously when we think our worship and something like that. The music portion of it is such a big deal. Now it's good. I like that people run it like boot camp. Like we got to be because that makes for a good worship. You know what I'm saying? It looks good. But I also understand the people who are like, we don't have all we have time is for this this hour before, and that's what we're gonna do, and that works for them too. So you just need to find out where it works, but it should never get in the way of the gospel. You should never think what you're doing is like bigger than the gospel, or is, you know, like I feel like, especially in the gospel music industry, I think we take ourselves way too seriously. Like, dude is not, like, I don't care what big worship leader you are, I don't care how many people follow you, dude is not that serious. You're getting up there, you singing songs, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like come on. Or even the CHH artist, dude, your bars, okay, you good. It's not that serious. You know, you're rapping. Right. You know, like what's your message? How you moving? Let's talk about that. How are you helping? Like, we should never let our song ministry cause division within the church. If that's not a victory for Satan, I don't know what it is. If we letting our song ministry, how we get together so we can worship, cause division and strife, if that's a win for Lucy, man. We need to move off that. Well, all it takes is maturity, though. Just like talking it out.
That goes back to what I was saying about the church that I went to. The foundation of it was different. The culture was different. That's why people voluntarily showed up and did it and learned the songs, and, you know, the musicians played the music, and wasn't, everything was understood. Okay, I got to check the schedule to see if I'm on the schedule. I got to, you know what I'm saying, I got to show up at this time. We rehearse on Tuesdays, and we rehearse right before church. So, but it was understood to do that, but the foundation and the culture was totally different. It was not even, you know what I'm saying? It was, everything was set up on the back end to where I want to be a servant to the Lord. I want to serve on the worship team. I don't want to be in the choir on the worship team because I've been here and I tithe. I want to be in the worship team because I want to serve. This is the area that I'm serving. It's a totally different mindset. Okay. Yeah, so when you have that mindset, I'm serving in this area, then yeah, you don't have that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that. It's bigger than me. I'm bigger than that. So I'm bigger than the ministry. I'm bigger than the message. You don't have that, and that's the mindset. But it starts from the top down. And like me, when stuff is disarray, when I'm frustrated, I gotta look at myself first. Like, I like that, draw a circle around yourself and fix everybody in that circle.
Yeah.
You know, so,
yeah.
You know, one thing that I thought about doing is to fix my little issue. Well, it's not a little issue. I can't really talk about it on there. The word to get to the people, so I can't do that. But I was thinking about like putting on, playing the board, the keyboard with the band. You know, and that'd be a sing and play. That's kind of what I thought about doing to fix my issue. But I can't talk about my.
Yeah, no, man, don't talk about nothing on there. You don't want to talk about on there, man. No, we good. I think it's a good conversation, man. Like, but all these conversations, again, they can be had with maturity. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's there to serve the Lord. Don't take yourself too seriously. And every situation gonna be different. There's some, that's the crazy thing about, there's so many denominations of Christian that there's some that don't believe in worship at all. They won't let you can't play instruments, anything. They might let you sing a cappella, maybe, you know, maybe, but it's so many, there's so many different thoughts and beliefs on that. And for us to argue about it is definitely something that Satan wants, and we should avoid that at all costs.
All right, let's watch this. What's his name?
Oh, Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian from Family Trump had a rally at Madison Square Garden last night. And there's the biggest news you're hearing about it is one of the comedians that introduced them. They're talking about a lot of stuff the people around Trump said, who talked before him, and the comedian, he made some racist comments about Puerto Rican citizens, because Puerto Rico is part of the United States, you know. So, yeah.
Let me look up his nationality. I think he is Puerto Rican.
Yeah, that you know, when they get somebody of your nationality to say something racist, it's or something that's that could be offensive, is you can hide behind that when it's like, oh well, I'm joking at me, I'm telling jokes about myself, and that's cool for comedians to do. I would hope my president would check him on that. I haven't heard what Trump had to say about the comments yet.
I don't know. I can't find his. I was told he was, but let's see what it is.
Wow, isn't this special? 17 years ago, I was sleeping in my car behind the Comedy Store in LA, and I'm proud to say this is my 4th time performing at Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the damn world. The American dream alive and well right here. This is very different than where I'm used to performing, though. I'm used to nighttime with people drinking, not so many babies in the crowd, and people that are obviously only here for Lee Greenwood tonight. Normally, I don't make my political beliefs a known thing. It's divisive for a comedian to do that, but just know I sleep well at night knowing who I'm voting for. Yeah. When I lay down and my head hits my pillow.
My newest film, Am I Racist?
It is a fantastic pillow, by the way. I was staying at the Four Seasons up by Central Park one night, and I laid my head down, and it felt so good, and I thought to myself, what an amazing pillow. I have a little bit of money now. I could buy a good pillow. And I took the pillowcase off, and there it was. My pillow, my pillow, my pillow. And damn it, I bought 4 of them. And if you use the promo code KILLTONY, you can also buy 4 My Pillows. There's serious stuff happening, people. I live in the great state of Texas now. 18 years in Ohio, 20 years in California, and I got to see California turn to absolute horrendous thing. And traveling the world, I got to see San Francisco turn into one of the most demented cities, one of the greatest downfalls I've ever seen. And that is where the other candidate worked for 2 decades. And it's absolutely wild to see. And in Texas, stuff is really crazy. We're right there by a wide open border. Where are my proud Latinos at tonight? You guys see what I mean? It's wide open. There's so many of them. It's absolutely incredible. Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country.
Oh my gosh. I did read that, now it don't help, but the Trump team said they didn't vet his speech. So they didn't know a lot of the stuff he was going to say. But, I mean, that don't help.
Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor. Free speech is under attack, people. I host a show, and each week I get updates what words we're allowed to use and not use anymore. It's happening right now the past few years. It's a real thing. And, you used to be able to tell people to Google stuff. My mom's a boomer in the state of Ohio, and there's no convincing her of anything. She's eating the cats. She's eating the dogs. They're eating the pets up there. It is absolutely wild times. It really is. And, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Now, again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody. This isn't exactly a perfect comedy setup. There's some people here. All right, very good. I like it. I have other policies that I think it should be implemented as well. Like me personally, I think football should be all year round. Yeah. So many great athletes. I don't know about you guys, but I think that Travis Kelce might be the next O.J. Simpson.
What?
Feels good in here. The other side's got a lot of crazy endorsements. Swift, Eminem, Leo DiCaprio, Beyonce. Every day the Democratic Party looks more and more like a P. Diddy party. Oh, okay. Okay, that's what you guys want. All right, heck yeah, it's cool. Black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that, a lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome. You guys are... This is a groany little morning crowd, huh? It's tough to follow this audition for the next Commissioner Gordon's over here. It is, though. It's crazy times we're living in. I mean, all these pointless wars. It is unbelievable what's happening right now. It is incredible. Ukraine versus Russia, Israel, it's like bad soccer games. Who even cares? What are we doing? Why is our money involved in these wars? When it comes to Israel and Palestine, we're all thinking the same thing. Settle your stuff already. Best out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors. You know the Palestinians are going to throw rock every time. But you also know the Jews have a hard time throwing that paper. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're having fun now. We're cooking. Everybody. Hillary Clinton said that this is a Nazi rally here today. Can you believe that? For the most anti-war president of my entire lifetime, and she calls him Hitler. Let me remind you, Hillary, it was your husband who shot innocent people, or as he called them, interns. Yeah, Hillary, I bet you did not see that one coming. By the way, if I commit suicide in 3 weeks, I didn't. I mean, it's just obvious to me who the right candidate is. There's a guy out here dodging bullets. It is unbelievable, right? He took it right in the ear. Unbelievable. I thought about this. I don't know if you have. Coolest place to get shot. Like if you're gonna get shot anywhere on your body, that's where you want it. Right there. Technically, he got shot in the head, depending on if you're a Democrat or a Republican. Right? If you're a Democrat, his ear was grazed.
Sometimes you feel like you're trapped.
If you're a Republican, he survived a headshot. It is. It's the best place to get shot. It's the only part of the human body will drive a piercing through like a little girl's ear for no reason. Right? There's just no, it heals fast. Nobody cares. It's the best place to get shot. He went down, saw blood on his hands. I'd imagine he thought right then, I think I just won this shit. Stands up and says the most American words I've ever heard in my life. No. Before that, there was one more. Let me get my shoes. Fearless. Perhaps still with an active shooter. He's talking like a guy that just had the best one-night stand of his life. Right? Like, where's my shoes at? I gotta get the hell out of here. let me get my shoes. And then the fight. What he did was so cool that Biden got COVID. Oh yeah, go back, look at the timeline of everything again. 3 days after that. That means that Biden, he didn't get that from hanging out with sick people. He was in a sterile room in the White House, watching blood running down Trump's face as he pumps his fist. Biden's like, oh, fuck. Oh, God, no. It's true. Trump survived an assassination attempt, and Biden got COVID. We vote next week. God voted 3 months ago. Another great Austin, Texas resident, Elon Musk, will be speaking here later today.
No, I think he's done with the controversial stuff.
So the best thing you could say about it is he is a comedian, you know, and he up there telling jokes, and comedians are allowed to be. You know,
that's what I
like
got
that.
from it.
That's the best. That's the best.
It reminded me of if Dave Chappelle was up there, he would did the same thing. I feel like he came out to everybody. It wasn't just.
Well, but there's ways that, but again, like if you take what I just gave them, like, hey, he's a comedian, and then you try to run with that and try to point out how ways it's okay, I'm gonna be able to come back at it and shit like, nah, it's different. He didn't come out everybody the same way. The way he came at Jews is different from the way he came at black people. The way he came out black people is different from the way he came out of people who live in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't come out everybody the same. He talked about everybody the same to kind of give it that flat, but it wasn't the same way with everybody. Some things had a little more could be considered, you know, hate behind it than others. But if we not getting into that, if we just going with, hey, he a comedian, which is what the Republican Party and everybody else is going to try to stand on, I won't go against that, because he is just a comedian. But if you ask me to dissect what he said and try to make it where it was fair across the board and like it wasn't some underlying things in there, I would say, nah, man, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't, I think it's because he is Puerto Rican, and so he can. And I have Mexican friends, they do that. But yeah, that's that.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Trump has the most unshakable fan base out of any politician I've ever seen. Like Trump can't lose support from his base. You know, like the only other thing outside that is like, can you stop him from gaining support? But
I don't think neither one of them can. Well,
now you know Kamala, because the proof that Kamala can use support with her base is that where it was right after the DNC and the way it is now. Like all those people who were super fired up after the DNC, not so much today. She's already lost support. She can lose support. Trump can't lose support, not from his base.
Yeah.
But she don't really have a base, though. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't have a base.
All right. Oklahoma State question 833: what to know on authorizing public infrastructure districts? So evidently this is a question that's on the ballot. So backers of an amendment to authorize municipal public infrastructure districts say the funding mechanism could spur more affordable housing construction. For critics question the potential burden on taxpayers. But critics question, so yeah, I mean, if it's the government's doing it, I mean, yeah, we're going to get taxed more. Is that property taxes? What taxes is that? State question 833, a legislatively referred constitution amendment on the November 5th general election ballot proposes authorizing municipalities to create public infrastructure districts. To qualify as public infrastructure district, 100% of service property owners must agree to the funding formula and present a plan to their local city council. A board of trustees will be established to oversee the district if approved. Residents of areas designated as public infrastructure districts could be assessed an annual tax up to $100 per 100,000 of assessed value to fund the infrastructure improvements. The trust would have the authority to issue public bonds. So is that value fund the infrastructure improvements? Is that property taxes?
Yeah. So and we need to get someone on who wrote the bill. But from the way I understand it is because schools are funded by property taxes like that makes it. They're trying to say like, hey, in these areas we're going to designate these areas. Basically, we're going to pass a bill to raise the property value, so y'all are paying more so these schools can have more money. That's my layman's understanding of what this question does. And that's what we would need to get more information on. We read that part right there about who supports it and why.
All right, who supports the state question 833 and why? All right, Representative Terry O'Donnell, Republican from Catoosa, Senator John Hayes from Tulsa, Republican from Tulsa, sponsored a resolution to put the state question 833 on the ballot and debated in favor on the measures on the House and Senate floors. O'Donnell called public infrastructure districts the ultimate local control that will allow cities officials to spur construction in areas developers might not otherwise be interested in. He said, so basically, low income areas, impoverished areas where there's not a lot of development happening. He said single property owners will be the most likely to utilize the funding mechanism. This is kind of like the state. What I'm reading, this is like a state-funded opportunity zone bill. If you build, there's money there's money to help you to like tax breaks and stuff if you want to build in like areas where people don't want to build at. The cities have control over their local districts and awarding them, and the people who move into them pay the additional bonds. And Donald said nobody else pays the additional bonds. Let's see. He said public infrastructure districts could take pressure off cities and towns and allow faster development, particularly in the areas with a lot of growth. This is the way to support cities to build more houses, he said. Now, what opposes state question 833 and why? Who opposes it? Let's see if Mr. Lowe is on here. Who opposes state question 833 in the House? A mix of fiscally conservative Republicans and Democrats voted against SJR 16 in the Senate. 6 Republicans and 1 Democrat voted no on the resolution. Representative Andy Fugate, Democrat, Oklahoma City, posed the hypothetical that a developer could push to establish a public infrastructure district in a high-end housing district and then sell the property at a substantial profit. He also said, how can you stop that? Unless you want to put something in here that says you can't do that. Then maybe that's what he's getting at. He also said residents of public infrastructure districts could be more hesitant to support bond measures for public schools. So that's kind of what you was talking about. This really is the triple crown of bad policy. Fugate said, if you vote for this, it's a vote for more taxes. It's a vote that will hurt your public schools. And it is a vote that will put taxpayer dollars into pockets of developers that will pay and then leave.
Now, that's one of the problems I have, because the proposal, on paper, to me, from what I understand, it sounds good. And his objection is something that's possible, but why always shoot down something for what you think bad could happen? And instead of saying, like you said, like, okay, well, if there's something that's bad can't happen, let's write something in there to prevent that from happening. But let's not throw out everything good that this does because this one thing could potentially happen. I don't understand why you would stand against it for just that reason.
Yeah, he's saying people are gonna build and then they're gonna leave and rent it out.
Yeah, he's saying people are gonna build, jack up price, sell, make a lot of money, and then run. Okay.
Which is where you get the gentrification argument in, because the gentrification argument is what I know it to be is new developments are built, new properties put into place in these neighborhoods, and then the rent is, or the prices to get them is a lot higher than it normally is, so the people can't afford it. And so I feel like that's what he's going to. That's the argument he's trying to make. But my question is, how are you going to make the neighborhood better without doing that, without building new stuff? You know, if State Question 833 is enacted, who would oversee public infrastructure districts? The state of the measure states that a board of trustees would have authority over the public infrastructure district, but does not specify duties or appointment requirements. Does State Question 833 specify what qualifies as public infrastructure? No, but lawmakers could narrow the definition into subsequent legislation should voters approve the amendment. Okay, here's another question. I guess it's the FAQ. Is anyone spending money to sway voters on State Question 833? As of October 16, no individual or organization has reported spending on State Question 833. According to Oklahoma Ethics Commission filings, pre-election spending reports are due on October 28th today. So, I mean, you better get your reports in.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's spending money like I haven't seen any ads about it. You know, like you always see, especially around this time, you see a bunch of political ads either for or against these state questions. I haven't seen a single ad on this particular question, 833. From what I understand, like it sounds like it's a good thing, but it's just a framework, because like they said, even if we voted for it, then they would have to go in and say, okay, the people want this. Now what actually qualifies as these zones and how we're gonna do it. So yeah, so family, if you're in Oklahoma, State Question 833, read up on that, see what you think. It sounds like it could help public schools though.
Yeah. Yeah, read up on it. That was in the Daily Oklahoman. Let's watch Vance spar with is this your boy, Mr. Tapper?
Don't put him on me.
Nah, he ain't your boy.
Don't put him on me.
I'm just joking, man.
See?
I'm just joking. He ain't.
Other people in the room, Mike Pence's former chief of staff, for example, who've explicitly said Donald Trump never said those things. Why does John Trump? It's about policy. It's actually not about personality.
He says he agrees with Trump on most policy.
No.
He agrees with Trump on most policy. He disagrees with Trump on how Trump views his role and his and the fascism and the authoritarianism.
I don't buy that, Jake. They want America to police the world, and Donald Trump wasn't.
John Kelly lost a son in Afghanistan. Why are you saying that he? Like, I've never heard John Kelly say whether he supports of Iraq or Afghanistan.
And I honor his son's sacrifice, and I honor his family's sacrifice. That doesn't mean he's not wrong about policy.
You're ascribing worldviews, I think, based on gut. I can't really tell where you're coming from on it. There's no evidence.
Based on people that I've talked to in the Trump administration,
sure, John
about
Bolton,
what John Kelly wanted to do, John Bolton, Liz Cheney.
We're talking about Donald Trump and what he says.
Yes. And
Donald Trump says.
And you'd much rather talk about what Donald Trump allegedly said than what Donald Trump did in office.
I'm talking about
what he did in office, Jake.
What he said publicly.
1.5% inflation.
The military to go after the enemy within, which is the American people.
He did not say that, Jake.
The enemy within.
He said that he was going to send the military after the American people. Show me the quote where he said
he was going to. He said the enemy within.
He said far left lunatics. He's talking about people rioting
and Schiff.
He's talking about people rioting after the election. He separately, in a totally different context, in a totally different conversation, said that Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff were threats to this country.
Were the enemy within.
Were
the enemy within. He said they were the enemy within.
So every time he uses the exact same phrase, we assume that he uses.
I don't know. I don't throw around the term of enemy within to talk about using the military against going American people.
And you're asking his vice president, but you won't let me answer the question. I'm telling you that Donald Trump has said, and I agree with him, that we should use the U.S. military to go after
Americans.
People who riot, who burn down our cities.
And this was what John Kelly was.
The National Guard.
This was what John Kelly was alarmed by. The idea of using the U.S. military to go after Americans. That's what he said.
Donald Trump never said Americans writ large. You keep on putting words in his mouth and my
Are they
mouth.
or are they not Americans?
Far left people who commit acts of violence, who riot. And
now you're doing a very narrow definition of what he said, which is not what he said. Liz Cheney, he said, should be put before a war tribunal. None of that sounds fascist to you at all?
No, of course it doesn't.
putting Liz Cheney before a military tribunal?
First of all, I don't buy into the premise of what you're saying, Jake, because I just on things that I know that he said, on things that I know that he said, you're imputing things, you're taking words out of context.
So it's not like these are conservative.
Absolutely, that's my argument.
These are not conservative
Jake,
Republicans. These aren't conservative Republicans who are concerned about Donald Trump. They're not. That's not right.
All of these people, Jake, they came into office thinking that they could control Donald Trump. That when he said he wanted peace in the world,
Mike Pence thought he could control Donald Trump.
Yes, he did. And when he found out that when he found out that he couldn't, they all turned on Donald Trump, and a lot of them got fired. And we're running, and we're trying to staff the government with people who are going to govern according to principles of peace and prosperity.
Let me ask you.
They're pissed off about it.
The National Guard's job is to help disaster relief, and also to when it's called is to establish order in the streets if called to do that. So either side, whether it's if Harris wins and Republicans start going out there, crashing stuff and burning stuff down, she can call on the National Guard for that. Same thing with Trump. So that's 100% correct. So that's what they can do, and that's what they should do, in my opinion. But I like that he keeps going on in these. I love that. He's able to have these back and forths because that's what he's able to do that. Now I like that he keeps going on this, and that was good. And I think that, like I said, she's got the media, man. I feel like they had to do something else out, to try to make Vance look bad, to try to let's stick on this fascist thing, and let's just. But I don't think the normal voters, a lot of the independent voters, I think that a lot of them they're not even concerned with the fascist thing. They just like, hey, what does my pocket look like? How much do I got to put in my gas tank? How much does eggs cost? How much does this cost? What how much am I getting back on my paycheck? What is my city doing with if I'm in the city with a migrant problem? What are they doing with that funding? I think that's what it's going to boil down to. I think Trump bad, Orange Man bad. It's just not gonna. But if she wins, then yeah, you would have to say that helped. The Orange Man bad. That would help.
The problem they have is that, first of all, no one's going to admit to being a fascist, just like no one's going to admit to being a racist. So calling them that is a waste of time, because the people who care about them or believe in them, who love them, they don't see that. All they see is the good things that they've done for them. And for Trump's base, it doesn't matter what he said or what he's done. All they see is that, hey, when he was in power, it was better for me. Even if it wasn't, they think that's the belief that they have. So don't try to. It's trying to get them on gotchas like, oh, but he said this, but he said that. Is not going to work, because the people don't care about that. And it's definitely not going to work when you're talking to somebody else about what Trump said, because they're going to always be able to say, oh, I don't think he meant that. He meant this. You don't know if he meant that. All I can take him at is what he said. So I wish they would stop trying to get JD Vance on and get him on gotcha questions on like, oh, what about when Trump said this? Just talk to him about the policies. Okay. And when they talk about the policy that they say they have, okay, how are you actually going to do that? Tell me. Like, what's your plan to get it done? Because any policy that you have, that you still got to get it through Congress, and our Congress is still divided. How are you going to do that? And if you're going to, are you going to get it through Congress by just rubber stamping everything with the what is it, man? I can't get the term now. The executive orders. Are you just going to executive order everything, or is it going to? Because if it has to go through Congress, you still have to pass through a Congress that's divided. So how are we going to get that? What is your plan? Let's talk about that. All this other stuff, man. Like Trump.
That's what JD Vance. He's like, hey, let's talk about the actual policies. Let's talk about the actual issues. You keep trying to talk to me about this fascist stuff and everything Trump said, and let's talk about actually what the American people actually.
Well, because in a normal world, that would be important. Like, again, I don't care what JD Vance said about what Trump said. I heard Trump say he wants to enact a law from like the 1700s to deport every illegal immigrant. how do you know if a person is an illegal immigrant? Well, unless you have to walk up to them, you have to basically it's going to be the new stop and frisk. They're going everybody who looks like an immigrant, you're going to stop them to see if they're here illegally. I don't like that. If I was a person who you might think was an immigrant, I wouldn't like that for me. So I don't like that. I heard Trump say that. I don't have to talk about what J.D. Vance thinks Trump meant by it. I know what Trump said by it, and I'm going to take him at his word. I heard Trump say he needs us to have a day of violence, a day of extreme with criminals. What does that mean, Trump? And then I heard him say he had a congressman in office who would enact that if he was president. I'm concerned about that. J.D. Vance don't have to talk about that for me. I would ask Trump what he meant by that to clarify it, or I'm going to take him at the word he already said and vote accordingly. So,
when did Joe Rogan ask him?
No, Joe Rogan didn't ask him. But Joe Rogan did ask that. Everything Joe Rogan asked.
You know why Joe Rogan didn't ask him? Because he's just like these other independent voters. I don't care about that.
I think Joe Rogan don't care about that because he don't have a reason to care about that because Joe Rogan don't look like an immigrant. There's other people who cares
people that look like immigrants don't care.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. But again,
Hispanics. I know a lot of Hispanic people. They actually someone actually want that, but he's talking about people that commit crimes, and he said it over and over on many occasions. People that commit crimes. If you're in
that's
there,
what J.D. Vance just tried to say. Far left people aren't Americans because Jake Chappell kept saying like, "Hey, Trump wants to use the military against America," and J.D. Vance's response is, "And y'all let this fly." Oh, not Americans, just far left people who riot. What about using that the people who rioted at the Capitol? They wasn't far left though, so he don't want to use the military against them.
No, that's what I would have asked if JD. That's what I would do if I was J.D. Vance. I'd have been like, okay, well. Should we have used National Guard on January 6th? Because that's what I'm talking about.
I don't think
if I was in a discussion or a debate with liberal and they was talking about, well, Trump said he's going to use the military, blah, blah, should we have used National Guard on January 6th?
No, we should have just used the police. We have a police force for that. We could have the police force out there. We know we don't need to use the National Guard to take care of. Or riot. We have mechanisms to take care of it.
That wasn't good enough because they let them in.
Yeah,
they opened the doors.
That's a problem too. But I don't want to.
You know why they opened the doors? Because they felt overran.
So
that's coming from the Capitol Police.
It can't be both, man. It can't be both. It can't be January 6th was a day of peace and love. And people just was protesting peacefully, and January 6th was a day where they had a mob that overran the Capitol, so we needed the National Guard there.
The Capitol Police. I'm saying I would ask because I believe that's craziness. That's a crazy argument. What they trying to say, what he's trying to say. I would go on back at him. Okay, should we have? You think January 6th was this horrible, horrific thing, and the Capitol basically got like all these people came and like presented war. to the congressman and congresswoman, should we have used National Guard? I'm not saying it was the horrific thing they got, but the Capitol Police is saying they got overwhelmed. That's why they opened the doors, which don't really make any sense. Why open the door? But yeah, I mean that would have been my deal. But we got 12 minutes left. You got something to say on that?
The Vance
I
thing,
don't like getting a long word out.
The Vance thing, man. Like I would talk to Vance about the policies and what they're gonna do. Like talking to him about Trump, you're not gonna sway anybody, and you need to ask Trump himself what he meant by those things. Rogan didn't ask him that. Rogan did ask a question that was interesting to me about it was the JFK. He was like, "Hey man, you said you was gonna." Release the JFK tapes all that stuff, and Trump was like, "Yeah, there's a lot of people who are still alive. Good." He said there's a lot of good people who are still alive. Basically, that would be bad for. If that's all you tell me, that my mind starts speculating. I run all over the place, and that makes me say, like, "Oh, sounds like you're saying." We were in on that, like there was somebody who somebody you consider a good person who you don't want to see go down was in on that. If the way he left that Rogan, that question about JFK, That was interesting. Everything else is Trump being Trump. You know how Trump does, man. He's a good politician. When I say a good politician, I mean he knows how to stay on his message and dance around everything else, and he does that well.
I like that he knows how to sit down and just have a regular conversation. All right. Speaking of that, well, this is a debate. So Brandon Tatum, he's a part of the Turning Point staff, contributor staff now, where he goes and has debates with college students on college campuses. This is at the University of Memphis, debating about black community stuff. And if Brandon Tatum shows up somewhere, the black students will show up to him because they know that he basically talks about the black culture and stuff. Probably when I get more TikTok followers or whatever, I'm doing pretty good. But if I was to show up somewhere, I probably would get the same thing. So let's watch a little bit of this.
I just want to say this, fam, before we get started. Debating college kids, if you win, is not a flex. You're debating college kids. You know what I'm saying? Talk to some grown folk. You know what I'm saying? You talk to some grown folk. You know what I'm saying?
He talks to grown folk all the time, BET. So, but it is a flex in a way because this is the future of America that you're talking to. So you want to go to the college campuses and have these conversations with these kids because they're the ones that's gonna, mold America to the way it's going to be. So you want to go change. You want to go change their minds and change narratives.
I'm with Whitney Houston too, man. I believe the children of the future, but I don't think you teach them well by debating them on college campuses. But okay,
I think you are because they're getting taught some crazy stuff in them classes.
Crazier than what he about to say. I haven't even heard what he said yet, man. But I so disagree on most of the things he say. I know it's going to be crazy. All right, let's play it.
You get a public defender, and that same public defender suck. For a black and the same, I'm not saying all of them suck, but they're not equipped like if you had to pay for a person to defend you. Right. That's a poor thing. Rich people get away with doing stuff all the time. Right. They get away with these white collar crimes and all this stuff because they got the money to deal with it.
But he didn't get away with it.
Here, you have a question? Come on, ask your question.
No, my brother right here was next. He been waiting a lot longer than me.
Okay. He can switch you if you want. Go ahead.
Sorry, we have time for one more.
Oh, one more. Okay.
Come on, no, we can do half and half.
I'll let them do half and half.
We can do half and half. Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What I want to say first is that I understand what you're trying to say, and I would like it if more Republicans were like you. However, some of the issues and some of your talking points, I feel like you're removing some context. Like even with the whole thing, you talked about Rosa Parks, how her husband owned a car and all that. That's not the point. They were doing that to protest. Even if you do have a car, there are probably plenty of black people that did.
Did you hear the part that I said that we had our own bus line?
I know, but we shouldn't have that. Because you were talking about how everyone should be together, we should all unify. But if we stay separate, if we keep having black water fountains and white water fountains, white schools and black schools, we'll never have that unity. And even with these people out here, there are gay, trans people all over the place. And then you have like your little people in the background. Oh, only two genders. Like you're not going to make unity.
We're provoking a conversation so people can come to the mic and have a conversation. That's what it is. If we don't have some issues out here for people to know where we stand or to provoke conversation, nobody's going to come and talk. So some of those things is to provoke a conversation. Let me talk about Rosa Parks. There's a difference between natural immigration or migration between the races and forced desegregation. When you force it, you cause animosity and chaos. When you let it be a natural thing, it happens a lot more smoother. In the South, even in places where there was discrimination on the law book, not everybody discriminated against each other. There was black and white people getting together all the time. It was certain places where they held true to those structural things that were Democrats put into place to cause division. I don't think that she should have forced that. I think that black people should have had their own bus line and became competitive, and then therefore they merged. Because that's the problem with our societies. We gave up a lot of our own generational wealth trying to get in the bed with a group of people that didn't really want us at the time. We had resources that we forfeited. We had education systems that we could teach our own history if we wanted to, but we forfeited that to stage this issue that wasn't as prevalent as Martin Luther King and the others made it. It wasn't as prevalent. People weren't just killing each other in the Deep South. It was only isolated situations. That's why they traveled to Birmingham. That's why they traveled to hot spots to create chaos, to get us to where? Where did that get black Americans today? Are we more generationally wealthy than we were then? Is racism stopped? Is discrimination stopped? That stuff didn't do nothing. They tried to push a political agenda to benefit themselves and not really benefit black people.
See how I use an ad.
So the problem with Brandon Tatum and all the foolishness he talks is he talks that stuff out of one side out of his mouth while admitting that the CIA put drugs in black communities, admitting all these systemic racial things that happen to keep us down, but say, nah, but some of us we were able to thrive. Like Greenwood was able to be built under Jim Crow, and then it was able to be burned down with no repercussion to the people who did it under Jim Crow. He conveniently forgets that stuff. He having a disingenuous conversation with these kids, and they trying to talk to him because for some reason they respect him, but I don't respect the stuff he's saying like that. His stuff he's saying, it makes no sense. It doesn't hold water when you scrutinize it for real. And that's all I'm saying about what he's saying. Everything he said right there, all the stuff that we don't force segregation. No, come on, man, get out of here.
Don't force migration. Not segregation.
No, he talked about segregation. He went segregation.
He said migration.
No, he said they shouldn't have forced segregation on people who wasn't ready for it. And in some spots, the people mingled together.
You can go back and watch again. He said migration.
Rewind it, man. Just
he said migration.
Just rewind. Just rewind.
He was talking about Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks was the segregation thing. It wasn't about migration. It was segregation. She was supposed to sit on the back of the bus. She said no.
You know, her husband owned a car and all that. That's not the point. They were doing that to protest. Even if you do have a car, there are probably plenty of black people that did.
Did you hear the part that I said that we had our own bus line?
I know, but we shouldn't have that. Because you were talking about how everyone should be together. We should all unify. But if we stay separate, if we keep having black water fountains and white water fountains, white schools and black schools, we'll never have that unity. And even with these people out here, there are gay, trans people all over the place. And then you have like your little people in the background. Oh, only two genders. Like, you're not going to make unity.
We're provoking a conversation so people can come to the mic and have a conversation. That's what it is. If we don't have some issues out here for people to know where we stand or to provoke conversation, nobody's going to come and talk. So some of those things is to provoke a conversation. Let me talk about Rosa Parks. There's a difference between natural immigration or migration between the races and forced desegregation. When you force it, you cause animosity and chaos. When you let it be a natural.
The reason why you're confused is because he's talking foolish. He's talking about migration and segregation.
He's talking foolish to you. He's talking about migration. He literally said migration.
No, he's using migration and segregation like they're synonymous, and they're not. That's what he's doing, and that's foolish. To use migration and segregation synonymously. Rewind it. He gonna say migration first, and then he gonna say forced segregation. Either he made a mistake one time, or he trying to say they're synonymous. I don't know. I'm saying it's foolish.
To provoke conversation, nobody's gonna come and talk. So some of those things is to provoke a conversation. Let me talk about Rosa Parks. There's a difference between natural immigration or migration between the races.
Where did Rosa Parks immigrate from? Where did Rosa Parks immigrate from?
He changed it and said migration. He meant migration. He just said, no, I mean migration.
Where did she migrate from?
What do you mean, where she migrate?
Where did Rosa Parks, if he using migration, where did Rosa Parks migrate from?
He's talking about entertaining, like, and bringing everybody together.
Talking about desegregation. Desegregation and migration are two completely different things. He's talking foolishness. Go ahead, finish playing it.
Segregation. When you force it, you cause animosity and chaos.
Because now he's talking about forcing desegregation. He's talking about forcing desegregation. He's not talking about migration. They're different things. He's talking foolishness right now, bro. Get your mans. Get your mans. He's talking foolishness. Like
where there was the
you got access to him.
Discrimination on the law book. Not everybody discriminated against each other. There was black and white people getting together all the time. It was certain places where they held true to those structural things that were Democrats put into place to cause division. I don't think that she should have forced that. I think that black people should have had their own bus line and became competitive, and then therefore they merged. Because that's
he's
the
against
problem with
segregation.
Our societies. We gave up a lot of our own generational wealth trying to get in the bed with a group of people that didn't really want us at the time. We had resources that we forfeited. We had education systems that we could teach our own history if we wanted to, but we forfeited that to stage this issue that wasn't as prevalent as Martin Luther King and the others made it. It wasn't as prevalent. People weren't just killing each other in the Deep South. It was only isolated situations. That's why they traveled to Birmingham. That's why they traveled to hot spots to create chaos, to get us to where? Where did that get Black Americans today?
People weren't killing each other.
Are we more generationally wealthy than we were then?
People as a whole weren't killing each other in the Deep South. Black people were getting lynched. You're right. People as a whole weren't just out there killing each other. Black people were getting lynched by other people.
You said it was isolated situations. It wasn't happening everywhere in every town.
Yeah, lynchings wasn't happening everywhere, but a lynching anywhere is egregious and it's egregious, and it shouldn't happen, and you should stand for wherever you need to stand for. But again, his reason why I don't listen to Brandon Tatum, and we could have a conversation if he wants to, but I would need him to he would need to make me see how is he correlating segregation and migration. Did he make a mistake there, or was he really trying to say they're the same thing, because they're not synonymous?
Okay,
that's
the only issue you got with that.
That's
not really
But so that point is the reason why he had to try to conflate him to make his argument, and then he goes down to the argument about where he's pro-segregation. He thinks we should have stayed segregated until somebody decided we shouldn't have segregation
and become
anymore.
Competitive.
You can't become competitive when the government is working against you. And again, he will admit that the CIA put drugs in black
That's
communities.
Two different time frames you're talking about. Right?
If they doing it, so you think they just started it then? You don't think they wasn't doing it before?
You think they was doing it in the 40s?
Bruh.
He's literally talking about the 40s right now.
Jim Crow? Yes, Jim Crow was the reason why they didn't have to flood the communities with drugs until the 80s is because before Jim Crow did more than that. Jim Crow took care of all that for them. They didn't have to do that under Jim Crow. So yeah, man, it sounds like he's pro Jim Crow, and I'm anti Jim Crow. And so
he's not pro. It don't sound like he's pro Jim Crow.
To me, that's what it sounds like. To me, that's what it sounds like.
He sounds like he's pro black excellence, and we had our own business. We had our own lives, organizations and stuff.
What does he think? What does he think?
Keep that.
What does he think should happen? What does he think should happen after Greenwood? How does he feel about Greenwood? What are his thoughts on that?
I think I've heard. I have to go back. I've heard it one or two times. I have to go and see what he said.
I'm about to. My bad. I'm sorry, because I'm about to do to you the same thing I say people shouldn't do to JD Vance. Ask him to defend something. So yeah, if we can have Brandon on, we could have an open conversation that the same thing he do in these college campuses, he could do right here on the air with us. You know what I'm saying? And we can have the conversation.
But he does that though.
Yeah.
So but it's good to go on a college campus because those are the narratives you need to be. Those are the narratives that need to be changing, in my opinion. So
he just taught. You're saying it's good for him to go and teach college students that migration and segregation are synonymous. That's not good. Any kid who listens to this,
you're choosing one little thing to disrupt his whole point that he was making.
I'm telling you, I don't listen to him. But when you put this in front of me, I say I haven't even heard it yet, but I know it's going to be some foolishness. And what happened? Some foolishness came out. I'm picking that one thing because that's what I just heard. And then I listened to everything he said after that, and everything he said after that say, even if I forget about that, it sounds like he's pro-segregation, and I'm against that. You know, so yeah, so I'm pro desegregation. And so either way, even if I give him his false things that don't jive, we still in disagreement on the segregation thing. Brandon,
and that's pretty minute, pretty micro, but that's you want to lay on. That's you want to lay on.
I'm not. Let's forget the wrong
micro.
Let's forget the wrong about segregation and migration. Let's throw that out. Let's just stand on he's pro segregation. Because if I say he pro Jim Crow, that's being unfair because no one's gonna say they're pro Jim Crow, just like no one's gonna say they're racist. But saying he's pro segregation is different. Sound like he's saying he's pro segregation. I disagree with that.
Yeah, his pro segregation never came out of his mouth, and so that's not even. He's not saying it here. He's never said it. He's not saying it.
So when he says they shouldn't have forced desegregation, they should have just stayed segregated. That's not saying he's pro-segregation. Again, because I'm taking a step from what he said to something else. So just on what he said they shouldn't have forced desegregation. Did he say that?
They shouldn't have forced them. He said migrate. Yeah.
He said they shouldn't have forced desegregation.
Yeah.
So I think they should have. And so that's one thing that you can't say he didn't say, and I can say I disagree with. I think they should have forced desegregation.
Okay. So and because you forced it, you got rid of all your stuff that you had.
What did we have?
He just said it. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm disagreeing.
You're sticking on the migration and the word salad, the word flip flop, whatever, that you completely disregard this whole point he's trying to make. He's saying because you forced it, we completely lost our schools, we lost our businesses, we lost the things that we had already had going for us. If we would have stayed there and had them, we would have been more competitive. That's what he's saying.
How did desegregation cost us all those things? How did we lose businesses? So basically what you're saying is like, hey, it's desegregated now. Now the people who were going out of business, they're going to stop.
I think you got to go and contend with, because he learned this in school. So that's what when he talks now, there's books out there that I've been handed to and told to go read by, I forgot who wrote them, but whatever. But they actually talk about these things. But you got to contend with that. But the academics, the stuff that was written about that and the history.
And what he has to contend with is systemic racism that y'all think don't exist, but you agree the CIA put drugs in the community. If the CIA put drugs in the community, is that systemic racism?
I never smoked crack or.
Is that systemic racism, whether you smoked it or not? Is it systemic racism?
Was all black people living in the community?
Is it systemic racism, bro? That's the question. It's not. Why is it not systemic? If the system is doing something illegal or wrong against you, how is that not systemic? If the system is doing, the American government is doing this, how is it not systemic?
Because I never smoked crack or sold crack.
Just because you didn't don't mean that somebody.
And there's hundreds of black people that never sold crack or smoked crack.
Amen.
That lived in those neighborhoods.
Amen.
So, and all black people didn't live in those neighborhoods.
Yeah, and this is the reason why I don't have these conversations with them, because that's some foolishness that I don't feel like unpacking that with. If you can't see that, I don't feel like unpacking that with you. Let's just talk about your policies, who you're voting for, why you're voting for them. I disagree with that too. You know what I'm saying? If we want to have a round table where we getting thoughts and ideas out there for everybody to hear, let's get those round tables and thoughts, ideas. But don't try to convince me that migration and segregation is the same thing, and then don't try to convince me that segregation was good. I don't think it was good. And just because you desegregated, that didn't cost us our businesses. It was the systemic racism and all that other stuff. Like I say, I would need to know how he feels about Greenwood and what he thinks should happen.
I forgot where he said it at, but he said it on somewhere. I don't know where he said it at, but you're not gonna agree with it, so. you're not gonna agree with it, so.
Yeah, man.
I don't think it matters what he said. You're gonna have a problem with it.
So you don't have a problem. You don't have a problem with what he said right here at all.
No, I don't. No, I do. Now, I don't want to say 100% don't have a problem with it, because should there have been something to like, hey, why does it say whites only, blacks only? We need to stop this. You know, it should have been something done. But not on. I just think not at the same level as it was. I think maybe it was done at the extent of losing stuff that we had, and I don't think that was a good thing. But you got to contend with whoever wrote these books is something that he read, that his professor that he had at University of Arizona.
I don't have to contend with his professor. I think his professor would be like, "Hey man, why are you calling migration and segregation the same thing?" I think his professor would want to know that. Family, this has been the Conservative as Christ show with LJ and the Wretch. We are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Until next time, keep them with you.
Get locked in and stay locked in. This is the Conservative as Christ show.